Welcome to 365 Christian Men, where every day we aim to inspire and encourage with real-life stories about men. March 29th. John Wooden. John is best known for his phenomenal success as the coach of the UCLA Bruins basketball team. But he was also the first person to be inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2 roles, player and coach. John defines success both on and off the basketball court in terms of discipline, patience, and humility. Talent is God-given, he said. Be humble. Fame is man-made. Be grateful. Conceit is self-given. Be careful. John began playing basketball on his family farm after he was done with chores and schoolwork. He played in high school and college, and then taught high school English and served as coach for several high school sports. On this date, in 1975, John announced his retirement from UCLA. He had coached there for 27 years, and his teams had won 10 national titles. Here's today's story.
The seemingly small things in life can make big things happen. The Wizard of Westwood didn't have any magic potions, but man, he could win games. In a 12-year period, John Wooden won 10 NCAA basketball championships. In both high school and college, he coached athletes for 40 years. Picture this. UCLA freshmen show up at their first basketball practice with the legendary John Wooden. They are about to be shocked. They know it's going to be a tough workout. They know they are going to learn the ways of John Wooden. They know they are about to become champions. But the assistant coach tells them to go to the locker room, sit, and wait. And there they sit. After a few minutes, the young men quiet down. The locker room door opens. Heads turn, necks crane. Into the crowded locker room, John Wooden strides and pulls out a chair and sits and pulls off his shoes and socks. Players look at each other. They're thinking, is this guy nuts? Finally, Coach Wooden explains that the first lesson is how to properly put on their shoes and socks. The faces of some players look confused. Some tense up. We were shocked, champion Bill Walton said. Coach told us that learning how to put on your shoes and socks properly was the initial lesson for everything we would need to know for the rest of our lives. Coach instructed the players to sit in a circle and take off their shoes and socks. On Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's first day of practice, he mumbled, "What are we, in kindergarten?" Wooden announced that anyone who did not want to sit in the circle and pull off his shoes and socks could leave. Abdul-Jabbar sat in the circle and pulled off his shoes and socks. With great patience and attention to detail, Wooden went through the putting on process. He taught that the athletes must pull the sock up without folds and creases, because if they did not, wrinkles would pop up. And if wrinkles popped up, they could cause blisters. And if the player got blisters, he would lose playing time. And if he was good enough and lost playing time, the coach might get fired. This was a weird coach, the guys thought, but he was all right. Coach then taught the players how to lace up their shoes the correct way. Pull the laces tight and even. Then double knot your shoestrings so they don't come unlaced in a game, so you don't fall on your face. Jesus said in Luke 16:10, "One who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in very little is also dishonest in much." Before they could play varsity basketball as sophomores, they had to master the fundamentals as freshmen. They were expected to tuck in their shirts. They were sent for haircuts, and when they returned to practice, Wooden might send them back for another visit with the barber. The players had to learn that the little things they do now determines what happens in the future. ESPN named John Wooden Coach of the Century, not Coach of the Year or of the Decade, not Coach of a certain sport, just Coach of the Century. Paraphrasing Jesus, who said in Matthew 25:23, "He who is faithful in small things will be trusted with greater things." Are there small areas in your life where you know you're not being obedient? Are you holding yourself back from greater things because of your disobedience in small things? Is today the day you pray and ask God for the strength to be obedient in every area of your life, that He may trust you with greater things? The seemingly small things in life can make big things happen.
Thank you for listening to today's story. Every day of the year, our hope is to inspire you with real-life stories of faithful men who have gone before us. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that so easily ensnares us. Let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." Join us tomorrow for another story at 365christianmen.com.